First-time homebuyer credit of $400 a month, just proposed a few days ago. President Biden came out. In this video, I'm going to talk about the pros, the cons, why this might not be the best idea, some stuff that's come across over the last few years with homebuyer tax credits, and why they're attacking this whole housing issue from the wrong side. Stay tuned. Matt, the Mortgage Guy, residential mortgage broker, licensed in 48 states. Go to greatmortgagebroker.com to connect me and my team. I want to jump right into it. I'm very passionate about this because I've seen the issues in the housing market. I've seen affordability being an issue. I've seen not enough housing supply be an issue. And I've seen a bunch of people in suits propose ideas that, quite honestly, will not work. They will make the problem worse. So before I talk about some old stuff that was proposed and why that didn't work or wasn't a good idea, the latest and greatest in March of 2024, a proposal during the State of the Union or something. Quite honestly, no politics on this page. I don't follow politics very close. I've got issues with how both sides do it, so I'm not trying to give you political views in this video, but there was something proposed by Joe Biden where he stood up and he said, I'm going to give first-time home buyers a tax credit, or maybe he just said home buyers in general, a tax credit of $400 a month for the next 2 years. Everybody stood up. Everybody clapped. Now, here's the thing. There's clapping and there's getting excited. Then there's really analyzing whether this will do more harm than good to the actual receivers of this tax credit. Here's how this works. You give buyers on the buy side, otherwise known as the demand side of the equation, free money, tax credits, that fuels more demand. That puts gasoline on a fire that's already pretty gosh darn hot. Every single time anybody has proposed anything around fixing issues with the housing market, namely affordability, where I've strongly disagreed, no matter who proposes it, red, blue, Democrat, Republican, right, left, center, you don't fix the problem by juicing up demand, by giving free money and adding fuel to the fire on the demand side, because there's not a lot of housing supply, not a lot of houses for sale. What you're going to inevitably do is drive prices up. That's how supply and demand works. So going back, just typing a few keywords into my YouTube channel, I look back on 2020, 2021, a $25,000 grant that they talked about, a $15,000 homebuyer tax credit. This stuff has been talked about. Thankfully, none of it has passed because it isn't the answer. In a future video, I'm going to talk about things that I think would truly help, namely building affordable housing by building more smaller homes. There's a lot of case studies. There's 661 square foot stuff in San Antonio, Texas that Lennar home builders are doing. And again, I'm not going to play on either side and be pro home builder, anti home builder. If it helps the housing market, if it helps affordability, if it helps the average consumer, I'm all for it. Generally speaking, home builders are out there with their own lenders, taking business from independent brokers like me. But if that's what it takes to get buyers into housing that's affordable, I'm going to root for it, quite honestly. And that is where you attack this whole problem, is you attack it from the supply side. You figure out a way. Maybe it's reducing costs to builders. Maybe it's, having something around permitting, right? In a state like California, where you have to spend $100,000 before you even break ground on something. Maybe you loosen up those guidelines or lower the cost of those guidelines so that anybody who builds can deliver a product at a lower price, right? Because juicing up demand and saying, I know housing's unaffordable. I know this payment is going to be tough for you. Here's a $400 a month tax credit. You know what happens? It drives up the price by 10%, and that extra 10% in price is $400 more per month. And the buyer, all you solved for them is a more expensive house with a bigger mortgage and a $400 credit to offset it that's going to fall off after 2 years. So they're worse off 2 years from now than they were without this tax credit. I just wanted to bring this one to light. I wanted to repeat again, and anybody who follows housing and really understands how it works is going to say the same thing. No, this is not how you do it. Unfortunately, in today's political world, you just say stuff that gets votes. You say stuff that, like when I watched this, like all these oversized suits that stood up and clapped, I'm like, not the answer. So let me know down below. I don't want to hear anything about politics. I just want to hear specifically about housing and real estate, whether you think it's a good idea, bad idea. Maybe there's some positives that I'm not looking at in this thing. Maybe there's some ideas that you have, like building more small, affordable homes. Whatever the case, we can all agree housing is unaffordable. Housing is broken. There's a ways to go on making it to where, shelter costs, both rent and mortgage, housing as a whole is fixed. So subscribe to the channel, like, comment. You can dislike, you can disagree with me in the comments. That's all good. Let's just have a discussion around it. I think it's healthy. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I guess we gonna see.